All right, so recently I saw that Kaz XL, also known as Big Cass from the tag team nZo and Cass, said that in a year he's going to be the biggest star in wrestling. I think he said in a year, maybe he said 2 years. And a lot of people just crucified him, like, "Oh, you can't say that," and which is funny. But and will he be? Probably not. I mean, come on, that's a huge jump in 1 year. Go from hardly used on the indies, at least that's how it seems. Maybe he's getting regular bookings. But go from ROH ending up not using him to biggest star within a year. A lot would have to happen. Now, I love the passion and the drive expressed there. He's going to have to show a lot, of work ethic and creativity, and also improve just in general. He's just going to have to be smart enough to improve to get there. He doesn't have to be the best wrestler. He doesn't have to be the best promo guy either. You can get over without being the best at things. Anyways, I was thinking about it. What would it take for him to be one of the more over guys in wrestling, at least on the indies? Right now he's got the buzz of being a former WWE guy. He's with nZo. They have a lot of fans with nZo and Cass and their, realest guys in the room shtick. So what would it take? Well, I don't know what his wrestling gear looks like these days. I know for a minute he was looking a little out of shape. Not that that matters. You can be a big guy and still get over as well. But I feel like when he was in the WWE, he was not working much of a big man style for being 7 feet tall. Which was too bad. I think if he could work kind of like Andrew Test Martin used to, mixed with like a Kevin Nash, maybe even Scott Hall. Maybe Kevin Nash was too bulky for Big Cass to emulate. Maybe he needs to be more like Scott Hall. He could, get over. He needs to figure something else out. He needs to do something not like his old WWE thing. They need to, they can still incorporate that whole thing, but he needs to eventually break out away from that. And if he can get himself into, if they can get themselves back into ROH, get themselves into an AEW, a New Japan, they might be able to do something. I think if they could get into Mexico, though, they could do a lot down in Mexico. Like, Mexico would be an awesome opportunity that is often overlooked, and they could do quite well for themselves. I feel like they're unique enough that would work. But a lot remains to be seen there, There's not a ton of big guys there. There's some, but I think that could work. I think nZo could be annoying, a very annoying heel down there. The whole Italian northeastern shtick, the New Jersey shtick, that could work. But I don't know. They're not gonna be the most over guys in wrestling, not even close. But they can still be relevant a year from now, and maybe far more relevant on the indie scene. It's going to be a lot of work, though, guys. You're going to have to do quite a bit, and that's not cheap stuff either. You can't just always do cheap, jabs at people on social media. That'll do something, but you got to work some programs, some memorable programs. Think back to the big CM Punk, Samoa Joe 60-minute Iron Man matches, and AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels matches. Those matches put those guys on the map. CM Punk had the Summer of Punk in ROH. Things like that got him over. You have all sorts of stuff. All the things in New Japan that have helped get guys over, like AJ Styles, Fergal Devitt, or Finn Balor, things like that. So you need to do some memorable stuff, and showing up at wrestling conventions and just talking to the boys and doing these interviews saying you're going to be the most over is cool and all, but that's not going to do it. Maybe you need to start your own indie promotion. Maybe that's a step. Maybe you need to, I don't know, but you got to figure something out. And I haven't heard a lot about what you guys are doing on the indie scene, really. Outside of the ROH deal at Madison Square Garden, that was kind of a mess, how that came across. There's room to grow, and right now it's a blank canvas. So I would love to see you guys get over, nZo and Cass. Never was a huge fan. I did think it was pretty cool when you guys came up to Raw, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds for nZo and Cass. I do think they could be pretty popular. It doesn't seem like anybody really hates them. I think people thought nZo was annoying for a while. It sounded like, from a lot of dirt sheets or whatever. But that could be just a handful of experiences. I don't know. I think some of the stuff he does in his promos gets a little old and stale. But it reminds me of like an old Road Dogg in the DX, the same promo every night, pretty much. And I don't hate it. So, anyways, and I do think if Cass bulked up and worked a big man style, maybe drop the running boot. That only worries me because of Kevin Nash and his quads, but maybe get rid of that and do more brawler and big impact type of moves, and not something that he's taken a bump on, like a power bomb's a great move. I love that move for a big guy. Choke slam, a great move. A sidewalk slam off the second rope could be a decent move. But again, a lot of those are also kind of dated. Nowadays, a lot of guys have some pretty... A Death Valley driver from a big man might be a good move, but again, you're taking a bump on your side. I don't know. There was... My recollection of those guys is, besides their taunts and their on-the-mic stuff, there was nothing that got me excited about watching a match with them. I thought they were good at building to matches occasionally, but once you got in the ring, it would be decent. There were some good matches in NXT that I remember, but I never was like, oh, I love it when, so-and-so does this, or, oh, here comes that spot that I love. I don't remember anything like that. So there's some work, and I'm sure, these nZo and Cass they've been training for years, so I'm sure they already know a lot of this stuff. I'm sure they got some great ideas. I'm sure they're looking for the right opponents for it. But at the same time, they got to make their money, and, indie promotions can only afford so much. So I think you need to just do your best to make sure it's a memorable year. Cody Rhodes did it. The way he did it when he went to the indies and he had the list of everyone he wanted to wrestle, I thought that was awesome. nZo and Cass, take a note out of those guys' book, or the Bucks. Maybe start your own little YouTube thing and do something weekly with that. Pay somebody to follow you around with the camera and edit and put out some good stuff. Make your own storylines with it, a la BTE. Learn from the people who have done it successfully and replicate it, but do it better, or try to do it better. It might not be better, but still might get you the desired results. So anyways, those are my thoughts. This was Pro Wrestling with Juice, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.